everybody. It's lovely to catch up with you today, and I'm really happy to bring to you something a little bit different, something you may have heard about and you may not have heard about. And this is, of course, a part of my psychic development and growth program that I'm offering all of you out there on my YouTube channel. Tapping is one of the most powerful self-healing tools that I think was ever discovered when it comes to this planet. Acupuncture, as we know, is an ancient tool that is used with the meridians of the body, the endpoints of the meridian, is how acupuncture actually works, where a little needle is popped on, and when that needle goes in, that little point that it goes to actually talks to an organ in our body. And that's really the basis, I guess, the science behind acupuncture. But some years ago, a psychologist or psychiatrist, actually, Dr. Callahan, was in a situation where he was searching for answers. He was a traditionally trained psychologist, so a psychiatrist, I beg your pardon. So he learned all those different areas to help his clients. But he was getting very frustrated, especially with one particular client named Mary. And I'd just like to say that the story is in this book, The Tapping Solution by Nick Ortner. I'll explain very briefly about how I came across this book in a moment. But Dr. Callahan was trying to help Mary with a water phobia that she'd been struggling with since she was a child. And when she approached him in her early 40s, she was in a pretty bad way, apparently. And after about a year, Dr. Callahan was getting to a stage where he was looking and searching for answers, not just for Mary, but for a few of his clients who were really struggling to show any sort of improving in their improvement in their situation. And he came across acupuncture. And while he was doing that, he came across the fact that, the meridian for the anxiety was actually connected to the tummy area. And he had been asking Mary to sit at the edge of a pool to try and help her to get used to the water. But all that did was give Mary a bumping headache and also anxiety. And it was this certain day that she said to him, I just feel so anxious, especially in my stomach. And because he had been looking at the acupuncture and he'd learnt that the meridian under the eye had something to do with that area, that the stomach area, he asked Mary to tap just underneath that her eye on that meridian point, thinking it would help with the stomach, the anxiety in her stomach. When she did that, it was amazing, because not only did she get rid of the anxiety in her stomach, but Mary was cured of her phobia. So it was a significant turning point in the life of this psychiatrist. And so because of that, Dr. Callahan went on to study and to start to teach the power of the meridians and working with the meridians. And it was one of his students who actually then went on to discover that tapping on these points, not only did it just work with those organs, but in actual fact, it worked with the emotions of the body, the energy, the chi, the chi of the chi that we are all, energy, the energy of the chi. I don't want to bog you down with the science of all this today, because there's a lot involved in the actual story. And as I said, this book was something that found me, but not by accident. at the time that I discovered this book, I had been going through a period of my clientele coming to me with a great deal of stress in their life, and they kept referring to the stress and how they were feeling with everything that was going on around them in their life and not being able to cope with what was going on in their lives. And so I had actually asked the universe to help me, to help my clients in some way. Was there some way that they could show me how I could help my clients more with their stress? Um, and so it was only a matter of a few months later that I wandered into a bookstore with my husband, not looking for anything to do with that, because I, being a person who believes in the creation and being able to create and bring in what I need through the help of the universe. I just walked into this bookstore because it was something we did on a regular basis anyway. This bookstore was one we always visited when we went to this big shopping centre. But we were looking around, and I this book jumped up at me in the New Age section, The Tapping Solution by Nick Ortner. And what really drew me to it was this statement of a revolutionary system for stress-free living. And whenever I get interested in a book, I always look to see what's on the back. And it was on the back where, they talked about the release of anxiety, chronic pain, addictions, fear, weight loss, financial abundance, stress relief, and so much more. And I thought, wow, this sounds very interesting. And so I bought the book without really, I just bought it. I didn't really look at much more. Um, and I brought it home. And that was the beginning of my discovery of tapping, which of course is emotional freedom technique, a technique to free you of emotional negative emotions. Let's put it that way. And as I went through and learnt it and studied it and read up on it, I came to the conclusion that this was the answer to what I had asked Spirit to help me with, and that was to help my clients to learn about the art of self healing. And this was the big thing that drew me to this, was that it was a tool that everybody and anybody can apply themselves. They don't have to go to somebody and ask them to perform something that helps them to heal. And that's not easy when it comes to healing the emotions, because it's an internal situation, and emotions do sit in our organs. And so this, I started to use this on myself. And the very first time I tapped, I decided to just do it on stress. Even though I wasn't somebody who was a stressful thinker, I've always been a positive thinker. I was born an optimist, so I always see the bright side of everything. I always try to anyway, but so that was just built into me. It was part of who I am, my DNA, I guess. But I did a tapping, and I was very surprised at how I felt afterwards, because something had taken place in my sacral area, and that was a feeling it was a feeling of a lightness. It was as though I felt lighter. I found it very difficult to explain, but I knew something had happened, and I felt different. And so I went on to practice tapping a lot on myself before I introduced it, of course, to my clients. So I tapped on myself, I tapped on my family, they all helped, and they all tried it out, and they all said the same thing. Gosh, I feel different. And that's when I started to talk to my clients about they like to try it out with me after their reading. I actually allowed the last 10 or 15 minutes of my reading with them to incorporate a tapping at the end of the reading. And lots of things started to take place. I even received, phone calls from people just saying, this had happened or that had happened. One of my friends who helped me who tried this out to help me learn more about it, told me that she we'd done a tapping, and we'd done quite a long session. We'd done about an hour, and she rang me and said, I woke up at 1:30 last night in the middle of the night, and I just burst into tears. And I just know I released a lot of stuff. And we did a tapping on the difficulty of the relationship she was having with her mother. Another client rang me and said, I was driving along the motorway, and this actually happened 2 days after her tapping with me. She said, and I had to pull over because I had this emotion just come out of the blues, just seemed to come out. She said, I sat in the car and I just burst into tears, and I just cried and cried and cried for about 20 minutes. And so there were a lot of things taking place that were really opening my eyes to the power of this self-healing tool. And since then, all those years ago, since then, I have been a huge believer in the power of EFT. And never has something not taken place when I've shown somebody how to tap. There's always been a very positive reaction or response. And that's why I'm incorporating it into my psychic development and growth platform that I've got on now on social media or on my YouTube channel, because to connect to spirit, to walk a much more peaceful life, to connect to your inner gifts, and to walk in a more positive light on this earth plane, you do need to be much lighter within. It's very difficult to connect to your spiritual gifts and work with them and help others if you're carrying a lot of baggage yourself. And many people don't even realize just how deep that baggage goes, because tapping will bring up stress and strife that took place when you were just a baby or when you were just a little toddler. It's a tool that has a huge scientific basis to it. And there's been a great deal of scientific testing done. Even the Harvard University wanted to test this and see the difference it does make. And it proved that, people's blood pressure dropped, all sorts of amazing positive changes took place in a human being when they did tapping. There's a great deal of scientific evidence in Nick's book. He talks about so many ways that this has changed people's lives, and the scientific evidence is there in this book. So I mean, you may not want to buy this book, but you can, in fact, find lots and lots of scientific proof out there, even on YouTube. You could do a search of scientific evidence of the benefits of tapping or of emotional freedom technique, and you'll find lots and lots of information to prove that this is a very powerful way to self-heal. And so if you're struggling with stress, if you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling with fear, if you're battling pain and you're not really quite sure where that pain is coming from or why you have it, if you're carrying guilt, if throughout your life you've been made to feel guilty because of the words being told to you, or belief systems that have been shoved down your throat. That's putting it bluntly, but true. With negative programming of parents, brothers, sisters, institutions, whatever. Tapping will help you to release that. It will help you to release the negative effects that has been having on your life, and probably still is. I feel that one of the worst energies to have to deal with that can really hold us back is fear. Fear will put you in a state of indecision. It can block positive decisions being made because of the feeling that it gives us. And so many of you could have experienced in the past and could still be experiencing now this terrible feeling of being scared to take an opportunity, being scared to take a leap of faith. Even though you want to do it, you're afraid. And so when we eliminate fear from our chi, from our energy source, from the essence of us, from the spirit that lives within us, our life can change dramatically. And I know that from experience because I grew up in a very ordinary home, just a middle class home, but a home where my parents were happily married. However, I did have a mum who was an absolute genius when it came to handling the shortage of money, but at the same time, she did verbalise the difficulty around doing that. And so I did spend a childhood in a very balanced, happy family. However, it was still in a family where there was this belief system of lack of. And that sort of thing does affect you. It really does. It does create that little bit of fear of, feeling, I've got to make sure I've always got that little bit of money put away for a rainy day, because if I don't, this could happen. And that was actually my belief system, because my mother used to say, you always put a little bit of money aside for a rainy day, for the unexpected. And that was a very good way of teaching us to have that little bit of money put aside, not to spend everything that we had, but it was because you never know what could come up. So there was always that idea that something could happen, and you're going to need money for it, And as I say, there's a truth to it, but there's also there's an emotional belief to it, isn't there? I think you know what I'm getting at here. And so I lived with that little bit of that. Oh, I can't, I have to put money away. I have to, because this could happen. And that was a belief system that I had, even though I was an optimist, very much an optimistic person. That's just an idea, giving you an idea of how somebody's belief system, even a loving mum, put that in my belief system, in my mindset. And the day that I tapped on fear, there was a shift. And the thing is that as I began tapping with my clients, because I was doing going around and doing the whole course with them, I was also tapping on me. So when I sat with the client and we tapped on anxiety, when we tapped on stress, when we tapped on fear, when we tapped on whatever the emotion was, if I had any of that in me, I was actually releasing it from myself. And that's when things changed, and I became able to create a lot more abundance in my life. I actually started to the thoughts that I put out there of abundance, and the gratitude I was putting out there for the abundance that I did have, that did flow, actually became a lot bigger. So I did receive a lot more abundance, a lot more opportunities came my way. And I was able to also get over that fear of taking that leap of faith, no matter how small it was. I'd like to do a tapping with you today, and I am going to do probably about five different tappings over the next 5 or 6 weeks. Because I don't want to rush you with everything at first. What we really need to do, if you'd like to join me, is just to start off very gently. And during each video, I'll probably just give you a little bit more information. I don't want to bombard you with the science, explain to you all about, because one of the things that we've all heard about is fight and flight. And our bodies know when to go into fight and flight. There is a part of our body, it's called the amygdala, which is in the midbrain. The amygdala is referred to as the smoke alarm of our system. And the amygdala goes into action the minute we come into a situation of fight and flight. And, our bodies release adrenaline and our blood pressure goes up, our sugar levels go up, we get ready. And that's the thing that takes us into that warning of something's coming. So the amygdala is saying, look out, something's coming. And that's what causes the stress levels to shoot through the roof. And let's say, for example, you were a child who was hurt in some way. Let's say you were, in an accident, for example, and you broke your leg. We'll make it a simple everyday thing. We don't want to go into trauma, things like that at this stage, although we will in the future. We'll go through the traumas that you may have experienced and we'll help you to learn to release those. But let's say you were in an accident, okay, you broke your leg and you were terrified. It was an awful experience, but your leg was fixed and you went on and, I went on. And then, but internally, your body remembers how you felt when that happened because you would have gone into fight and flight. Later on down the track, something could happen that reminds you of that. For example, you could fall down a couple of steps or something and, hit your leg, or as you're actually falling, you could, and you feel something happening to a leg, all of a sudden, boom, you're back in that instant of breaking that leg. You may not break your leg again, but you feel the fear that you had when you did feel that leg breaking, if you know what I mean. You could be in a car accident and then you could be in another car accident. And as the car accident the second time begins, the memory of the first one comes flooding back because the amygdala is saying, oh, God, no, we've been here before. And this is how it works. But tapping, what tapping does, when we start to tap and we recognize and we acknowledge a certain energy that we're going through, for example, stress or anxiety, we open up that reminder, we open up that memory and we acknowledge it. And so when we first start to tap, we open up the tapping with a meridian called the Karate chop. So it's just here. And we actually tap on that very gently. You don't have to tap hard. When we tap on it, and we start to say, even though I have this stress in my body, I accept myself. What that does is that awakens up the body. It actually talks to the hypothalamus of the body. And these words, these big words, these actual big words are so difficult that I have to actually write them down because I want to say them properly, but I never say that one properly. So it prepares the body. The amygdala prepares the body that something's about to happen. So this starts to tap. At this point, this karate chop is a meridian that says, oh, get ready, let's get ready. Something's about to happen, you see. And so everything in tapping is done in sets of three. And so we tap on the karate chop 3 times, and 3 times we say, even though I have this stress and strife, even though I have this anxiety, and in the future, even though I have this fear, even though I have this guilt, even though I have this whatever, okay, this pain, I completely accept myself. So the body's hearing, oh, okay, yeah, I do have this stress, but it's okay. It's okay. I accept that that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because we know it's there and it's all right. It's all right to talk about it. It's all right to act on it. Okay. And so that's what we're doing when we first start to tap. And then after we've done that 3 times, we give it a level from 1 to 10. So we've brought it up, and we're now going to give it a number. What has happened since I've acknowledged this? And you could have a 10. If we're talking about a certain situation today or in the future, when we give it the number, certain emotions are going to have a different number, but some of them will be 10 plus. And so we acknowledge that. And then we go around the different points. And in a moment, I'm actually going to do it with you. I'm going to take my glasses off so you can see what I'm doing. And we're actually going to go around and we're going to, again, say to ourselves, tell our body that we are acknowledging this exists. And when we tap on each one of those points, the belief system actually is recognized and becomes a lot stronger. And that 10, let's say, that you've given it, that number that you've given it, actually starts to just come down a wee bit. And so we go around 3 times, we go around 3 times, 3 times. You'll see what I mean when we do it together. And then at the end of that, we have a feel of how do I feel now with this number. Some of you will feel a slight change. When we go into the final stage of releasing that emotion, this is when the real change takes place. Because the hypothalamus, another part of the brain, actually gets told to switch that emotion off. It's okay to switch it off. And this is where, when it's switched off, it is eliminated, or part of it is eliminated. And what I mean by that is this. We are all referred to as an onion by many people, even in the health industry, when it comes to working with the energy of the body. And in Nick's book here, he talks about how we are an onion. And this today, you may remove a little bit of the middle of that onion. That might be removed. But the body says, "Oh, I really appreciate that, but there's still a bit there because we can't eliminate it just like that." And so, some of you, many of you, just as I did, will feel a difference when you do a tapping especially for the very first time. And that's that little bit of stress and anxiety that was sitting right there. And the body decided, well, we're going to let this go today. The body will decide which part, how much, or which part needs to be released. Okay. And the hypothalamus will do that. Mind, body, soul. Hypothalamus and the body will know that's what we're releasing today. And we don't have to delve into we just put that the way you're going to feel, the change it's going to make at this initial stage. Let that be enough to let you know that this has actually worked. Something has happened. as some of my friends did, there's a possibility of a response that could come a little bit later, could come tomorrow, next week, whatever. When it does, if you start to feel, oh my God, I just don't feel quite right. It's the body's way of talking to you and saying, can you please tap again? Because I've got something. You've released that little bit, but you forgot this bit here. I'm trying to put it in an easy way, but it's in actual fact, it's how it is. And so, can you tap again so that now we can get rid of this bit and we can pluck that weed out? And so you tap again. I'd like you to really, really make an effort, everyone. Really make an effort here. It will pay off. And this could change your life forever. There's no doubt about it. In Nick's book, in this book, you'd be amazed if you read this book, the stories of the people who have been cured of some of the worst kinds of health issues. It really is an amazing book. He's put a lot of effort into it. It all comes from true fact. The people in this book that were cured with EFT were real life people with real life issues. And there was one lady who actually couldn't even walk, she crawled. When they went to see her, meet her, she was actually on her hands and knees. She was so ill, and tapping cured her. And there are so many other stories in this book that will tell you all about some of the amazing people that Nick discovered, met, and who he helped and healed to heal. And he is world renowned. He's Nick Orton and his sister and many other members of his family. They are world renowned. They're well known to do some miraculous work with tapping, and you'll find him on YouTube. He resides in America, and he's brought this out to millions of people. And there are lots of psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, teachers, naturopaths, coaches, health coaches that actually have introduced this form of healing to help others, teach them, help them to learn how to take responsibility of themselves and to learn the art of self-healing. So when we go through this today, when you go through this session with me today, we're going to shift something, but it's very possible that that shift is going to bring something else up to the surface. It's like you've got 5 layers, so you take the bottom one, you shift that down, and then the next one drops down, and it's like, oh, okay. So number 4 needs shifting. We'll move number 4, drops down number 3 until we get to the very bottom when that whatever was involved in that emotion is eliminated. So, as I said, I don't want to bombard you with the science of all of this today. If you want to do your homework on it, please do, and you will find that it is an amazing self-healing tool. Many of you today will have used this. Some of you could be like me, absolutely, a huge believer in EFT, emotional freedom technique, and you use it regularly to keep yourself in balance emotionally, physically and mentally, everything, and you're healthy people because of it. But there are many of you who may have never heard of it. There are some of you who may have tried it and then you drifted away. You tried it, you're thinking, oh, yeah, I tried it, but I didn't know. I felt something, but I'm not sure. And so that happens too. That's okay. That's fine. But if you're still struggling with those issues, then why not return to tapping and make it a part of your life? It takes only a matter of 5-10 minutes, doesn't it? So let's do a tapping, shall we? The reason I'm putting this into my psychic development and growth program, or part of those videos, is because I know that those people who wish to develop their psychic gifts, who wish to become a lot more spiritual, who wish to walk with their spirit guides and teachers who want to do great work on this planet, who want to find their purpose, who want to walk in peace, do so many things, find and live their purpose. What they need to know is that to do that, you need to be at peace within. You need to be a peaceful person whose chi is, your body is in perfect harmony. Tapping brings harmony back to your inner essence. It harmonizes you. It gets rid of all that junk. It gets rid of all that baggage. I had a friend who lost 30 kilos after she did a tapping session with somebody that I know. And it was unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable. And within 12 months, she was a size 10. And yet, when she started tapping, she was a large lady. And there are a lot of people who have lost weight because they lost all that stress and strife they're carrying that the body hangs on to. So, even if you're struggling with your physical and give this a go, because I will tap on that sort of thing in the future, and it could help you to make a change to how your body functions, and so your body will start to work properly, and everything will start to. It will eliminate what it no longer needs to hang on to. And so we're going to start, and we're going to start off with tapping on the karate chop, okay? And the karate chop is here, as I said before, and this is going to start waking up our body. It's going to start listening and it doesn't matter. You can tap this side, you can tap that side, you can tap this side, you can tap here. It doesn't matter what side you tap on. The body will still recognize the meridian that you are talking to. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my glasses off because I want you to see where I'm actually going. Now, I don't have very good eyesight without my glasses, but you can see what I'm doing, and it doesn't matter if I can't, it doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing, so I don't need to see what I'm doing. Let's start, shall we? Let's start by saying, and we're going to tap today on stress, and we're going to say, and repeat after me out loud or in your mindset, but please follow me and do everything I say and do, and you will get a wonderful response. So I'm just going to open up the conversation and let my body tell my body to get ready. Even though I have this stress in my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. I am very well aware of the stress that I am carrying in my mind, body, soul. However, I deeply and completely accept myself. All of this stress in my body, I am aware it is there. I am aware it exists. However, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Take a deep breath. And I want you to think about this. I want you to give it a number. How has this made you feel? And the very first number that comes to you, I just got a 7. And that's the number Spirit's just given me, my guide has just given me. And so I'm going to accept that. I'm not going to question it at all. I'm just going to accept it. And I have had some stress lately with my microphone. Some of you may know I've had a lot of trouble with my microphone, which I'm hoping has now been fixed, but it's been very stressful. And so I can understand why my body is saying it's been a stressful time. So I'm going to acknowledge that. And now I'm going to go around the points. So please just follow me. And the lightest finger on your body is the one next to your little finger at the end here. Okay, so here's my finger. So this one here, it's next to the middle finger. It's on the other side of it's the middle of the little finger. This is the lightest finger on the body. And so we're going to use that. And we're just going to tap on the beginning of the eyebrow. We're just going to tap and say all of this stress in my body. And then come around to the side of the eye, right here, right there, and just tap gently all of this stress in my body. We then go to under the eye, and I usually go around like this. I just tap like that for some reason. I just follow my feelings and I say all of this stress in my body. Okay. All of this stress. Now, under the nose, right here, that little line that's right there is another meridian point. So we tap on that gently, all of this stress in my body. Now we come to our chin, right here, right there, all of this stress in my body. Okay, all of this stress. Now, under the armpit, for the women, it's just right on the edge of your bra there. And look, what you can do is open your palm and just tap and sort of cause a bit of an echo. That's the way I put it, really. Just cause a vibration under your arm there, under your armpit. All of this stress in my body, that will get to the meridian. We then go to the top of our head and we say all of this stress in my body. And that's where we assimilate it. Okay. We're going to go around again. We don't have to do the karate chop anymore. We're just going to do the points. All of this stress in my body, around the side of the eye, all of this stress, all of this anxiety, all of this anxiety in my body, all of this stress under the nose, all of this stress and anxiety, chin, all of this stress and anxiety. And we're going to now go to the meridian where the fear meridian is. All of this stress in my body. I always, for some reason, I always tap like this. I don't know why, but I have my thumb on one meridian and I have my hand on the other. Even though I don't have to do that, I can just do that. I've always done this and I just do it. So it's up to you. You can tap like this on the collarbone. You can tap like that. But I always tap like this and I say all of this anxiety and stress in my body. And this is the fear meridian. Okay, but we're just going to tap on stress and anxiety at the moment. Okay, all of this stress in my body, top of the head, and now the final round. All of this stress and anxiety in my body, side of eye, all of this stress and anxiety. All of this stress and anxiety in my body. Under the nose, all of this stress and anxiety. Chin, all of this stress and anxiety. We're going to do the fear meridian again. All of this stress and anxiety. We're just talking about stress and anxiety. Under the arm, all of this stress and anxiety. Top of head, all of this stress. I want you to take a very deep breath. And I want you to think of the number that came up when you asked yourself how you felt. And I'm being told 5. So my body's saying to me, because my body does talk to me, my guides talk to me a lot about my body, and I have learnt this over the years, it's saying 5. I started off with a 7. So I've come down to a 5, which I'm happy about. And so what is it you feel? Do you feel you've come down? Because I'm sure you have. And that's okay if it's only a little bit. It doesn't matter if it's only 1. It doesn't matter. We don't have to beat ourselves up. This is a process that is going to eventually find its way the way it needs to. So please just trust and have faith. So I'm feeling a 5 and I am feeling a little bit lighter, I have to be honest. So now we are now going to hit it on the head big time. Okay. So just trust me. Okay, we just need the points. We don't need the karate chop anymore. The body's aware of what we're doing. So now we go up again with our light finger. And I mean, if you want to use, another finger, you can, but you only need to tap lightly. And you can use your middle finger if you want to, whatever you want to do. It's okay, but just tap gently. And now we start again. In the top of the eyebrow, I now choose. Say it all after me. I now choose to release this stress and anxiety in my body. You go to the side of the eye. I now choose to release the stress and anxiety that I am carrying in my body. I now choose to release the stress and anxiety in my body. I am letting it go. I am releasing it now. I'm letting it go. I am releasing it now. I am releasing it. Again, I'm releasing this stress and strife. I'm releasing this anxiety in my body. I'm letting it go. I am releasing it. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it now. I'm releasing it now. I am releasing the stress and the anxiety in my body now. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it. I am releasing it now. I am letting it go. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. I am releasing it. I am letting it go. I'm releasing it. Letting it go. I'm letting it go. Take a deep breath. And just take a minute to feel your inner spirit. Just take a moment and know this, that when you start to tap, and I would suggest that you just stay with stress and anxiety for a couple of weeks, you can start to incorporate a different form of speech with it. So, for example, what I mean by that is you could tap on exactly what is causing the current stress. You could be saying things because a lot of people worry about what to say. They think I don't know what words to use, and you must have faith that you can't say anything wrong. You can't give yourself stress. Okay, you can get a response to what you've just said. You can feel that something has moved. You can feel that something has shifted, but you're not going to create it. This is nothing to do with the law of abundance. We're acknowledging something that already exists. We're not drawing it in. It's already there. It's within us. But what we are doing is we're releasing it through the magic of acupuncture. How are you feeling? Some of you might even have a headache. And you know why? You've shifted to something that was a little bit toxic. So have a good drink of water. You know, if you have a big drink of water straight away after this, you should always have a big drink of water before, by the way, because you are working with the energy of the body. Have a big drink of water, and that should go. That headache should go. If it doesn't go within 30 minutes, you tap again on your headache. You say, even though I have this headache, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I've got this headache now, and I don't know where that headache has come from. I don't know what has caused that headache. I still accept myself. You do that 3 times, and then you tap around. I know I've got this headache. This headache is something that's just come on. I acknowledge I've got this headache, blah, 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 3 times. When you release it, you'll get rid of the headache, and that's how you get rid of some pain that could be associated with the toxin that's just left you. It's quite fascinating. But in the future, we will talk about how you tap on something that has created the stress and the anxiety. And what I mean by that is you could have a lot of stress at work. And so you would say, even though I have all this stress because of my boss, Graham. Okay, you can actually name what is causing the issue, and so you would say, even though I have all this stress because Graham, my boss Graham, is always, being nasty to me or whatever, I deeply accept myself. I know, even though I have all of this stress because I'm always being asked to do this, I'm always being asked to do that, but I accept myself. And then you can tap and go around and say, I know I have all this stress, even though I have this stress because of, I'm just using a name, anybody's name, because Graham's always picking on me in my job or whatever. You can actually verbalize exactly what it is that's really getting really upsetting you. And then you can go through after doing that 3 times and you can say, I'm now choosing to release the stress and strife that's being caused by Graham in my job. You could say things like that. Yeah, I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it now. And you're actually releasing the power of that person over you that's causing the stress and strife. It's very interesting what you can actually say. There's nothing you can't really say anything wrong, but the most important thing is to say the truth. Whatever it is that's really stressing you out, nobody else is going to know about this but you. This is a self-healing tool that you don't have to turn out to talk out loud. If you're having a stressful day in the office or anywhere, you can go to the bathroom and you can and go into the bathroom in a private cubicle and you can sit there and you can tap and you can just say it to yourself because your mind, body, soul. You don't have to talk it out loud because your mind is listening to everything you think anyway. And so you can sit there and you can tap at lunchtime, morning tea, go in and have a tap. Something's happened in the morning at work, it's really upset you. Even though I'm stressed out now because of the report that I did wrong, even though I'm stressed out now because of what happened, or even though I'm stressed out now because Mary's just dropped all this gossip onto me. You'd be amazed at what you can actually get rid of very quickly. And then you go around, I'm really stressed now because Mary's just told me all this stuff that's very nasty. Or you could tap on that. You could go through and talk, just continuously talk, keep tapping on all the meridians. Mary's really upset me now. She came with this gossip and now I'm really upset and I'm worried. And you go through and you just, you just bring it all up, find out what it's done to you numbers wise, and then you release it. So I'm releasing all the fear that I'm releasing all the anxiety and stress Mary's caused with her gossip. I'm releasing it now. I'm not going to hang on to it. I'm going to let it go. I'm letting it go now. I'm not going to think about it again. I'm just going to release it and let it go. And I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm just going to release it. I'm letting it go now. I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm just going to get on with it today and I'm going to just release it and step away from it. All that sort of thing. You're you're programming yourself by releasing all this stuff so that you stay mentally healthy and you don't take anything off. So it's a fascinating tool that is making a difference to millions of people all over the world who use it religiously. And that's the secret, is to use it. Take it on, use it, take it and use it regularly to keep you free. Firstly, to release all that old stuff, to release all that stuff that maybe has been sitting there for years. And as we go through each video, we start to talk about anxiety, we start to talk about guilt, we start to talk about fear, we start to talk about grief, all these energy, all these terrible emotions that can be so upsetting. As we release all those, you'll realize, wow, I was carrying so much baggage. I just didn't realize, I thought I'd gotten over that. I thought I'd released that. But in actual fact, you could have released it, you could have thought you'd released it by not thinking about it anymore, but the body is still hanging on to it. And it needs to be released a certain way. And this is a great way to release all those deep-seated events or things that have happened to you from a young child even up to last week. Something happened last week. And so this is just the beginning of these videos that we're going to do for you to help you to hopefully self-heal some of your emotions that could be holding you back, that could be getting in the way of your progression in life. I hope this has helped today. Please let me know if you would like to do some tapping, and then you get back to me, comment on it, let me know, give us a like, a thumbs up or whatever. If you'd like to continue on this journey with these psychic development and growth platform that we've just started to put out to help you to get on this journey of self-discovery, which is what we actually refer to it as. It's like a journey of self-discovery. Then please subscribe, and then you will receive the videos that we put out each week on the various areas of psychic development and growth, and of course healing. So thanks for being with me today. And as you know, my name is Linda Williams. I'm from Australia. And if you would like to get this book, I would highly recommend it. However, you don't have to go and if you can't afford it, that's fine. I don't know how much it is. I'm not sure how much. I think I paid about $20 for it or something Australian. But if not, then you will find a great deal of information on Nick Ortner's website. And there's a lot of scientific evidence on tapping out there now. Over the years, it's proven to be an amazing tool, and even the health industry have had to accept the fact that it is amazing. Just as acupuncture has been acknowledged for many, many years, thousands of years, acupressure is also being acknowledged, and it'll get to a stage where most people will start to use it. And this is even taught in some schools and different parts of the world, helping children to learn to de-stress before they start their day, which is amazing, isn't it? It's a necessary thing. Our world is full of stress. There's no doubt about that, unfortunately, but this can help us. And so please consider taking that on board. Try it out, see how you go. And even if you only get a little bit of change, it's still a little bit of change. And if you do get a response, remember, if you get a response, even a day after, a few days after, you start to feel different, you might even feel a little bit sad or whatever, just know it's because you've shifted something and your body's asking you to shift a bit more. Your body wants to get well. Your body's asking you to heal it. And this is how you can do it. It's a tool of self-healing, okay? So give your body a chance and it will heal itself. And by removing negative emotions, that's the beginning. Okay, everybody, it's lovely to be with you here today, and I look forward to the next time we catch up. Bye-bye for now.